Oh, that was a bit weird. Alright, how's it going, guys? We're back, we've got another video. I thought what we'd do today, I've got this Aspinochilus Rufus, or Java tree spider, or peach earth tiger. So we are going to rehouse her, hopefully. It's a very pretty spider, very, very pretty. But we've got a 20 by 20 by 30 enclosure. This is a Syngonium. We're going to stick that in there because they're quite moisture loving, and as being a tropical species, this is quite a high humidity spider, maybe around the 80% mark, high 70s to 80%. Springtails, well, right. So it's quite a good little enclosure, this, to be fair. They're pretty cheap. They do the job, they just have some gaps next to the doors here, but they're not too bad. Spiders can't get out, I'm not bothered. Right. So, we've got a few pieces of wood, obviously got that, we've got lots of moss, we've got a big bit of cork bark, here it is, big piece, but I'm actually not at home, so I don't have anything to chop it up, which is really annoying because I really like that. So we're going to have to get inventive and try and figure something out. But yeah, we'll basically just start by trying to figure out how we want to orientate things. Now this is going to be really cool, just going straight across it like that. So this piece here, what we'll do is we've got it up to where our soil's going to be. And being a younger Aspinochilus, this actually does like to burrow a little bit too. So we'll make sure we've got plenty of room for substrate at the back. Now I'm thinking we need to cut this somewhere around where this little notch is here. So I'm going to try and do that and I'll be right back. Right, we're back. So here we go. I've just cut it out. It's got a bit more of a natural cut out here because this is quite, flat. That bit's going to be under the floor, so that doesn't matter. Alright, so we've got a glue gun. Just going to stick this where we think. So I'm saying I like it about there. So we'll find our contact points. I've got one down here, and there's obviously a couple at the back. So we'll memorise our contact points. Put a bit of glue on there. Try not to get this webby stuff everywhere. Pain in the arse. Alright, and our other one is here. 2 should be fine. It's about there. And if you didn't do it too well, you can always come back through. Just put a little more on. And then, while that's there, get some of your sphagnum moss dried out. Just shove it into the glue while it's still hot. That will hide the glue and look a bit better. This bit's most likely going to be under the soil, but we'll get it anyway. Okay, grab some other bits. So we've got a nice little bit of wood here that we might use, possibly. Bit of an awkward shape, to be fair. I'm not really feeling this piece. That's fine. We've got some more. So I've got these 2 pieces here. Just aquarium wood. This one could look really good. I think something like that would be really nice, actually. So we'll go with that. So we'll find our contact points. One there. One on the glass here. Oh, dripping. It's got too hot. Down there. So those are 3 contact points. Alright, again, before it dries, we'll get our moss and we'll shove it in. not only does this hide the glue, it also gives you a bit of humidity in the enclosure and a place for the spider to drink from if it decides to. If it doesn't want to go to its water bowl, it's always got a bit of moss there. And it looks good. There we go, we'll just let that dry. Right, so sometimes when people get to this sort of part, they struggle and they don't know what to do next. So what I like to do is sort of find things that aren't the most attractive, like this sort of flat piece here. You know, it's just a bit bulky and right in your face. So then you can try and find things to cover it up or use it as some sort of base for stuff. For example, and you just keep layering, you know, over the top, so one piece there, keep going, and we can bring it out, actually make it part of something. Let's see what we got. So I do want to use some thinner pieces like this, but I think we want to do the bigger ones first. So this one's a bit flat, but could possibly break up the shape in a little bit. I don't really have that many big pieces left, to be honest. We might just have to make do. I don't like it. Something across here sort of breaks up. A little bit further back would be good. So if you provide things like this near somewhere you know the spider's going to go, so in here for example, it will use this as anchor points when it brings its webbing up to this entrance. So it'll have an entrance to its burrow or, you know, little retreat. And then you can use these pieces here, or the spider will use these pieces to extend it out a little bit, and you'll have a really nice, pretty sort of entrance there. So I think I'm struggling a little bit now. I think that would look okay there, and we'll just build from it. So it might not look the best right now, but once we add some more sort of twigs in and whatnot, it will look a bit better. Turn the glue gun on. So there's one contact point there, and our other one is here. Again, get our moss. Try not to take all the glue with you. I need to make a bit more moss. Get our moss. I'll just shove it in there. So now when the moss dries, or when the glue dries, the moss is glued inside it, and then you can wet it and it will expand. Right, let's try and keep building out. So this one could look cool there. Bring in something a bit more crazy like that. But I'll have to get the angle right. So that could look really good cut back there actually. So I think we'll go with that. And we'll just keep building. Right, contact point there. Contact point up here. And we've also got one back here, but we'll leave that one. Get the old moss. we'll let that dry. While we play around with some other things. So that, I'm feeling that looks really good already, straight away. So I'll try and get that glued in. One piece up here. And I'll have to do the end. I'll shove that down there. Run out of glue. Okay. Grab my mouse. Right. Keep going. Keep going. Try and find some nice pieces. Now, in nature, things don't always go very smoothly, you know, they don't always go artistically. They may cross and stuff like that, you know, it's not a bonsai tree, but you can do what you can do to make it look a bit more natural, because that's the sort of effect we want. Try and find a place for this one. That could look really cool up there actually. And we've got a few contact points, so let's try and get that glued in there. One was about there. One's on here. Tiny bit of glue there. And then a bit up top here. Gonna have to redo that one with a tiny bit of glue, so dry it out a tiny bit. So stick a tiny bit more glue in there. Shove on moss then. Cool. So it's really important to sort of imagine yourself as the spider. You know, you want to sort of think, how am I going to be able to hunt? You know, have I got a nice ledge here that I can sort of sit on and watch what's going on, or feel what's going on? You know, is getting from this point here to over here going to be easy, or is it going to have to, you know, go around loads of things? But that's not necessarily a bad thing. The more things it's got to climb on, the better. But here you can see, you know, if it was down on the ground. Right, I ran out of space on my SD card, so I don't know where I've got to. But basically, if you imagine being a spider, you know, you want to be able to climb up here and get around here and get into here and then get up here. You know, so the more sort of things you've got to hang on to, climb around on, the better, the more anchor points you got. So I'm going to put this Syngonium down here, but I think you got these anchor points, got these anchor points between here, between here, between here, between here and the entrance. You know, so many different anchor points, and we're going to give her hopefully a couple more. Let's try, keep going. We haven't got long left on our SD card, and I don't really want to keep her in the box too long, so let's just keep going. Get it done. Use this little bit somewhere. Maybe this little bit. Again, I'm really partial to twisting things, braiding things. I think it looks really good. Do it all the time. Oh. Alright. I think that looks good. It's just a little braid, it's something extra. Nothing major, but right, contact point. I'm going to put a little bit on the end of here because it's got a bit spiky. So put a bit of moss on that. And then we'll just do one here. So, moss. 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 I think that looks okay, it's just a little extra something. Bit there. So if I sound a bit crap, I'm just getting over a chest infection. This has not been fun. Right, and I think we'll try just give that contact patch there. And one here. Bit of moss in there. A bit more on here. Really get that glued on. Cool, alright. To be honest, I don't think it needs much more than that. There's quite a lot of vertical space. It's going to spend a lot of time burrowing. I'm hoping it will actually, you know, bring its tubes up into the canopy. That would be really cool. But I'm not really sure. I've never had an Aspinochilus before. I don't know how quickly they transition into the trees. Obviously as spiderlings they're quite vulnerable, so they spend a lot of time burrowing like other species, Omothymus for one. Which I actually have two of. Well, if you count Ybyrapora Valhalla as an Omothymus like I do, because it's definitely not a Ybyrapora. Because Ybyrapora are, or Ybyrapora are fossorial only. So, you know, only burrowing spiders spend all their life burrowing. Right, so most of this glue should be dry, most definitely. So what I do now, I'll give you a quick look over. So that's from the top. So as you can see, you know, you've got the cork bark tube here, lots of vertical spaces for it to climb on, lots of webbing points, and it's still quite accessible, so I can get in here and do a water bowl up here. You know, I need to put a water bowl in here. It's a good point actually. So I'm just going to take a water bowl from a Volvic, get yourself a pair of flush cutters, because we have these stupid tabs now. It's not saving anything, but we'll just cut them off. You know, why is it our problem? Why don't they just stop using things like this? Blaming it all on us. Right, anyway, rant over. What I also do is just take tips and just run it across these little, you know, separated parts. They're like, I don't even know what you call them, just the little joining parts to keep the cap on. Little perforated sort of, I really don't know what you call it, but we're just going to cut them down so that they're not sharp, you know, so that's nice and smooth now. And we also need to just wash this out. Alright, perfect, because I'm sure our tarantulas don't like drinking strawberry water. So, where should we put it? I think up there's pretty accessible actually, that's pretty good. I can still get in the front with my little squirt bottle. So I'm just going to put it there. Yeah, I'm fine with that. bit of glue here. We can put some on the bottom as well because it's resting on that ledge. So we're saying about here. And if I can get to it, let's put a little bit there too. Make sure it's nice and straight so it actually holds the water. And another thing you can do to dry it a bit quicker, if I can find my spray bottle. So hold it in place, and the cold from the water will make that dry quicker. And we also need to wet all of the moss. Yeah, all of the moss. Okay, and this may also highlight any bits of glue string, we'll call it, that you may have missed. Because it gets everywhere. Right, I'll normally come through with my chopstick, but I don't know where it's gone. But all we're doing is taking all of this loose moss off. So it should be wet enough now that you can just pull off any pieces that aren't actually glued. There'll be a lot of excess. Obviously don't pull too hard so that you pull it all off, but you want all those loose bits. So we can grab these clay balls. You can get these very cheaply. You just want to coat the bottom. Just coat in the bottom. Beautiful. Right, so you can see that we've just coated the bottom with them. So that's our drainage layer. Now, I haven't got any big mesh left, so all I've got is these tiny little things at the minute. I need to order some more, so I'm just gonna stick those in. But what you want to do is grab a bigger mesh piece and cut it down to size. Maybe use a few layers as well. Make sure no soil actually gets through to the bottom. You will get a little bit, that's just how it goes, but minimal is best. Right, so I'm just going to keep layering these up. Right, so we got a few layers of our mesh there, and that's just going to stop any soil going through to the bottom. Right, now I make a little bit of a mix. It's cocoa core and spider life substrate, and I just mix that up a little bit, maybe 30 to 70% or around that anyway. So 30% cocoa core, and then I just want to dump that in. Annoyingly, I don't have any bigger containers to mix in. As I say, I'm away from home. Not far, but I'm not at home. So I've just got to do this in a few separate pieces, but I'll come back once I've filled this up with substrate. Right, we've filled her up with soil. As you can see, we've come up quite far up the back, just to give it some extra burrowing depth. Kept our growth free. I've just seen, annoyingly, that this little latch, or this little plastic piece for the lock's broken off. It's supposed to grip into there. I don't know where it is. I don't think I broke it off. So that's a little annoying. I'm gonna have to try and fix that. But we'll carry on with the enclosure anyway. And I'll just put some elastic bands around it for now. Right, so I'm going to plant this Syngonium. We're just going to wash off the roots because it's come from a garden centre. There you go, it's a Syngonium pixie. It's just a dwarf species. So we're going to wash off all this soil and we'll come back. Right, here we go. So I just washed off the roots the best I could. Now we'll just make a little hole. This might be easier to do in 1 second. Drop our Syngonium in there. Make sure its rooting system is covered up. Put our substrate back in. Make sure that's as deep as it was before. So we've got our soil reptiles moss. It's just, carpet moss. And we'll put it near the base of the Syngonium so it holds the moisture a bit better. So you can just, I'm going to break this part a little bit. Try and get one piece right up there. It's going to be a bit of a nightmare to film, but try and get that piece in the corner. And get one piece just here. And then we'll put one bit right in front of it there. So there's our enclosure, and it looks pretty good. Obviously there's a lot of soil on everything now, but once that dries off a bit and it all starts falling down, that will look really cool. So, one last thing, I do this with all of my enclosures, is add springtails. So, pop that open, just make sure there's some springtails in it. Might be able to see them all crawling around in there. Maybe not, but there are some in there, so we'll just chuck that in. Maybe get another bit. There you go, there's definitely some on this piece. 100%. So chuck that in. And there should be some in there. So just chuck those in, that'll give us a good starter culture. It used to be called Flamingochilus, now it's its own sort of genus, Aspinochilus. See, it's quite a good size there. It's probably 6 or 7 centimetres, probably a little bit bigger than that to be fair. But these are old worlds, they are very, very fast, very skittish, very potent in venom. So be very careful. Okay, so there you go. That is the Aspinochilus Rufus. There we go, that's better. So there we go, very pretty spider. See the earth tiger markings, very orange, almost peachy. Right, let's try and get her in without too much hassle. Right, this could either go one or two ways, so let's give it a go. going to keep contact. Oh, that was a bit weird. Very strange. There we go, waking up now. How weird. And in we go. Keep our contact. There, she'll come up now. There we go. Trying to get her out a tiny bit. There we go. Very pretty. Very, very pretty. Look at that. Beautiful. And literally gone. I've just lost her. She must have gone straight into that tunnel. Oh yeah, there she is at the top. And there she is. Very pretty. So annoyingly, what I'm going to have to do for now is put a silly elastic band around it. I don't know if that's going to be good enough. We'll figure that out and I'll come back and I'll show you around. Okay, it's been 3 weeks. I really wanted to show you guys some cool tubes and stuff, but it's not happened. It's also completely ignored the tube that we made and tucked up behind here where the Syngonium was. And it's also not taking food now, so it could be in pre-molt. You never know. We'll keep an eye on it and see what happens. Maybe after it molts it'll start webbing up more. And I've also been calling this Aspinochilus, but it's actually Aspinochilus, as well as Flamingochilus, but now Aspinochilus. So that's how we say it. Now, before we say anything, from the moment we got this tea from the shop to the moment that we put it in this enclosure, it was in that tub for about an hour and 15 minutes tops, in the shade, so a lot less time than it would be shipping or anything. I think it was just, you know, half asleep and the little turn woke it up. But yeah, interesting. Now if you like that, if you like the enclosure, please drop a like, subscribe to the channel, it really helped me out. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Have fun.